Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Looks like. Um. All right. Why don't you just tell me your name? So it's been a couple of weeks. I've not been here. Just online. If you're just, can you just tell me your name, please?
Neon.
Keep going, guys.
Jack.
Kirsten,
Parker.
Claire, Natalie.
Okay. All right. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven online, and we have three here. Okay. Hope you guys are doing well. Hold on, guys. We're having some issues with the student not able to join. Sorry. I hope you guys are doing well. First question, of course, is the homework. How many of you have done all the homework so far? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, good. And I know Kate and Natalie, you guys are slowly catching up. So, um, how many of you are taking this ACT test next Saturday? One, two, three, four, five. Okay. Do you have anything to ask me? I want to make sure that any questions you have, I want to answer it today. Yeah.
What are your recommendations to not feeling burnt out by the science test, or by like you do writing?
Okay. So the main thing is, have you been taking the full practice test?
Not full.
Okay.
4 hours, no.
Well, now it's too late to do a full practice test. What I would say is Friday evening is probably the most important. You need complete rest. And I'll be sending a list of things we recommend people to eat and take and stuff like that. But I would say the most important is rest on Friday evening. People play sports and they get tired. They are not ready. Have everything ready on the Saturday morning, ready to go. Be there early, things of that nature, and eat well. You want to be really one of the biggest complaints we have heard is by the time people read science, they are tired and hungry, and you don't want to be in that. So I would take a protein bar like this. My son took the ACT and he had all these things handy during the break time, and he like boom boom boom, eat, drink. So we recommend a chocolate bar, and you'll see that in the list. Chocolate bar, orange juice is what what we recommend. Good question. Stay focused. Be in it to make a difference for yourself. No, like, hey, what's a big deal? That laissez-faire attitude is what's going to kill you. Keep going, guys. Any other questions? Anything else you want to ask? Okay. Last week you guys did a math test, right? That was the preparation, by the way, for this real test. Um, how did you guys feel? I'm pretty sure you made some mistakes, right? The most important is to work, and of course, we have not completed all the curriculum. So, but we wanted to give you guys a little surprise to see how you would react to it. Okay. So that's what I would recommend is to be prepare, prepare, prepare. Okay. I would not study much on Friday, but Monday to Thursday, today to Thursday, I would be like putting significant time on it. I know you guys are busy, but this is probably the most important exam, anyways, for you guys. Okay. One more thing I want to talk to you guys is hold on. Could you go to my last math notes I taught? What was imaginary numbers? Can you go to that in your notes, please? Everybody, I want to get started here. It should be imaginary numbers is the last thing I covered. I square stuff. Can you confirm that, please? Yeah, everybody? Okay. Could you open page 11 of the math packet? Could you open page 11 of the math packet? You guys good? So on page 11 of the math packet, you have conic sections. Okay? This is the big topic for you guys. So today, we're going to start with conic sections. All right? So when I'm lecturing, I want you guys to focus on the lecture, nothing to write down. I'm going to give you guys time to write things. Fair enough? If you don't understand, ask questions. Be intentional about learning. Things will be just fine. Okay? Today we're going to start with circles, ellipse, and so forth. We'll see how we're going to cover it. So we're going to start with the circles. So I can actually quantify a circle using an equation. Okay? We can quantify a circle using an equation. So if I draw an XY plane and draw a circle on it, I actually can write an equation of circle that represents this particular circle. Hold on, I'll give you some time to write this. So, what we're going to do is, there's a point on the circumference, let's call it as XY, that basically goes around the circumference. This is your center point. Instead of calling x2, y2, we're going to call it as h and k, just to distinguish that it's the center point coordinates. Okay? And of course, this is your radius. So, the radius of a circle remains constant, so the equation of the circle is actually the distance formula, which you guys have studied in 7th grade or in 6th grade. So, the equation of circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, which is equal to radius squared, which is your distance formula. Sounds good? So what you're going to be expected in ACT is, they'll give the information and you're expected to actually find the equation. You're not going to solve the equation, hardly. You're going to write the equation. Sounds good? So first, of course, I want you to write this. Then, I want you to solve this question. First one is, find the equation of the circle. Second, what is the area of the circle? I want full concentration, full attention from you guys. Let's get started. Boom. Go.
What does one say?
This one?
Yeah.
What is find the equation of the circle. What is the area of the circle? As always, the standing instruction is once you're done, face-to-face students just raise your hands and put it down. Online students just unmute and tell me your name that you've completed. So I get an idea who is doing what.
Parker.
Kirsten.
Jack.
Riley.
Ian.
Okay. So listen up. This is my radius. So that's what I need basically. In the real ACT, you don't have time to write this equation, okay? Don't do that. You know the point of the circumference? X is -2, H is 2, okay? Plus Y is 1, K is -6, so negative of negative is +6. This is where mistakes happen. Silly, but happens common. Is equal to R squared. So -4, 4, 16. This is 7, squared is 49. So R squared is equal to 65. So that's your R squared. So the equation of the circle is x minus 2 squared plus y plus 6 squared is equal to 65. And then second one is, what's the area of the circle? Pi r squared, so it's a 65 pi. Do a thumbs up if you got both correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Any questions?
No, I got it correct. I got the answer. I just didn't get the formula because I left it as the first formula, which was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, any equation should have a independent and a dependent variable. Fundamentals don't change, okay? Doesn't matter when I say equation, you gotta have these two parameters. The rest are all constants. These are all constants. You guys good with this one? Okay. You guys good? Okay. I think you guys seem to be good with your circles. Let's move on to ellipse, okay? So remember, this equation is important for you to know. If you don't know this equation, there's nothing much you can do. All right, so moving on to ellipse, and I don't want you to write again, I just want you to focus, okay? This is a, what do you call the horizontal ellipse. First question. What should I do to an ellipse to make it look like a circle? Think. What should I do to an ellipse to make it look like a circle? Yeah.
Times the diameter vertically times 2.
Exactly. So you take this distance and this distance to be same, right? So if I can make this distance and this, it's going to be a circle. So look at the equation of ellipse. X minus h squared, just like that, divided by a squared, plus y minus k squared, divided by b squared, is equal to 1. Now, look at how similar these two equations are. So what should I do to an ellipse, mathematically speaking, to convert this to this equation? What should I do?
Horizontal shrink.
Yeah, but mathematically, what should I do? Simple. Look at that equation, look at this equation. What should I do to this to make into this one? This is pretty easy.
Times by a squared and b.
Here's what I would do. If A is equal to B is equal to R, ellipse becomes a circle. Right? If A is equal to B is equal to radius, then this equation makes look like that. Right? So if I divide by R squared on both sides, it will be basically 1 here, right? So how do you define an ellipse? An ellipse, how do you define a circle? A circle is an ellipse where the major axis is equal to minor axis. So what's a major axis? This is a major axis. And this distance is called 2a. And shorter distance is called minor axis, called 2b. So this is your major axis. So this is your minor axis. Make sense? And of course, the center point of the ellipse is just like the circle, H and K. And any point on the ellipse is your X and Y. Sounds good? So this distance is A. This distance is A, and this distance is your B. And in a horizontal ellipse, A is greater than B, and of course the A is always greater than B. Even when you flip it to a vertical ellipse, A is still the major axis. It's just that it will be the vertical axis. We'll talk about that. Go ahead and write down this. Online students, make sure you guys ask questions, okay? I don't want you to blindly write things. It has to make sense. So I've drawn the vertical ellipse as well, and see how the equation has changed a little bit. Because the major axis is always A, so it's now y minus k squared comes first, because it has to go with A because that's a dominant side. Take your time. Students, do you have any questions? Especially online students, do you have any questions?
No.
gonna give a problem. Okay. It's gonna be a little hard one. We'll see how it goes. What else? This is question number 2, right? Problem 2. Let me completely first draw it, and then you can solve this problem. All right. Get started.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Should the y coordinate on the left of the ellipse, should it be negative?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. This one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it has to be the same as this one. Thank you. Make sure you have that correction stated. Thank you for pointing it out.
Question before me.
What are the coordinates of the center if the ellipse is rotated counterclockwise 90 degrees vertically? You hold the xy plane at the origin and you rotate it. Again, if you're done, do a thumbs up so I have an idea. One so far. Good, 2, 3. Do you guys need more time? All right. Again, I said when I'm explaining, I really want you guys to understand this, okay? You need to stop writing and focus. All right, the first thing you have to do is the A and B calculations. This is A. So this is what? 6, and this is 4. So this is 10 distance, okay? So this will also be 10 distance, right? 6, 4, right? So if it is 10 here, so it's 6 plus 10 is 16. And it's same y-axis, -4. Okay? And this one here is B, -4, -7, so distance is 3. So this will also be a 3. Well, I should have drawn to the graph basically, so. Not drawn to the graph scale. So this is what? 6, -1. Am I right? Okay. Apologies on that one, so didn't draw to the scale. So that's the coordinates of A and B. Do a thumbs up if you've got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. A lot of people. Excellent. So that's done. Then, what is the value of major and minor axis? Major axis is 2A. So it's 2A is 2 times 10 is 20. Minor axis is 2B. 2 times 3 is 6. How many got this correct? 1, 2, okay, a few people. Questions? Okay. What is the equation of ellipse? X minus h. H is 6 squared divided by a squared, which is what? 10 squared, plus y minus k. K is -4, so negative of negative becomes +4 squared, or 3 squared, which is b, is equal to 1. Okay? Now, what are the coordinates of the center if the ellipse is rotated counterclockwise 90 degree vertically? What I'm going to do is, can I borrow this book for a second?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to show you guys a simple method. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a simple method I've learned from school days in India. So this, imagine this, okay? Now, and I'm trying to make sure you guys follow me correctly, okay? So this is clockwise, right? This is counterclockwise, am I right? So 90 degree counterclockwise. So this is the plane, 90 degrees, okay? Now this point is in what? First quadrant. This is 6, this is 4. So the coordinates are 4, 6. Thank you. How many got 4, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you guys understand this methodology? And this is exactly how I would do in the real test too. Simple. Take the test booklet or a piece of paper, just do it. You'll never be wrong. Never be. Anybody has any questions? Anybody has any questions online? Okay.
Why didn't you, in your equation, you still have an x and a y. Why didn't you fill those in?
Remember though, I just repeated this, Parker. When you have an equation, you always will have an x and y by itself, a dependent and an independent variable. You are, if you have a point on the ellipse circumference, and you want to solve it, that's fine. But the equation, I'm sorry, we are having some real flies issues here, by the way. Apologies. We are going to have that x and y always in an equation. Without an x and y, it's not an equation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So y is equal to mx plus b. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So y and x, dependent and independent, has to happen. This is not an there is no exceptions for that. All right, now there's something else I want to teach you guys, okay, on this problem itself. And I don't want to go deeper into this, but you should know how to do it, the calculation part of it. And that's called foci. Some people call it as foci, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to call it as foci, and it's called C. So what are the possible questions they're going to ask in foci? First, they'll ask you to find the value of foci, okay? And the formula is c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. This is the formula to find the foci. What's a squared here? What's that? 10. C squared is equal to a squared is 100. B squared is what? 9. So c is equal to plus or minus square root 91. You guys, please listen up. Please listen up. I don't want you to write this. So if they ask you for foci, you're going to get two values because you're going to square root that. Plus square root 91 and minus square root 91. This is the value of the foci. And foci always is inside the ellipse. Okay? Always inside the ellipse. So, somebody tell me what square root 91 is? Decimal 9 point what?
9.5.
9.5. It always will be on the major axis. Okay, so inside the ellipse and on major axis. So listen up. This distance is 10. This distance is 10. So this is our vertex here, right? So if I do plus square root 91, it's going to be this direction minus square root this direction. So 9.5 would be somewhere here. Am I right? Very close. Again, I'm ballparking it. Somewhere here. It'll be same distance. So let's call this as C1, and this is going to be C2. And this distance is square root 91. This distance is square root 91. Okay? So they can ask you the value of foci, and this is what you have to do. If they ask you the foci coordinates, then you know this is on the horizontal, the major axis. So y still is -4, right? That has not changed. Are you with me? Because it's on the major axis, this is -4. This, okay? But you can do the decimal, or you can do the radical form like this. 6 plus square root 91, -4, and this will be 6 minus square root 91, -4. You guys with me? So what are the coordinates of the foci? Foci coordinates, C1, I'm just writing it clearly here. C1 is 6 plus square root 91, -4. C2 will be 6 minus square root 91, -4. Make sense? Always on major axis, inside the ellipse. And actually, you know what? I'm trying to use different markers so you can actually see it better. So, make sense? Put on this. Online students, if you have any questions, please ask.
What does foci stand for?
That's what that's why I don't want to get into the thing. Foci, yeah, it takes time to explain. Foci is a point on the major axis which is equidistant from the vertex. This is the point where it's so you have to actually draw a Pythagorean theorem. That's why I don't want to get into that one, Parker. So you have to actually draw a Pythagorean theorem. That's why it looks like a Pythagorean theorem. It's not a squared plus b squared, it's a squared minus b squared. So again, I don't want to get into the details of that, but think it as basically a equidistance from the center. That's what I want you to think about. If I get some time this semester, if we complete all the curriculum, and I can go back and explain this. And I've seen this asked once a year in 7 ACT tests. Very rarely I've seen this. Does that make sense? Any questions, guys? I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes time to read through all the stuff we have done today. Just go back to the basics, circles, and then to this. Guys good? So, what are the issues we have seen with this topic? And remember, circle and ellipse is a huge topic, okay? It's not a small topic. First, of course, people do not know the equations, okay? Then, funniest thing is they actually think when I say major axis, they think major axis is A, not 2A, okay? So half of major axis is A. You guys got it? That's the first mistake we have seen. Second, whenever we have seen a question on this, we never used to teach this, by the way, because very rarely we used to see this question. But nowadays it has come a little bit more often, so we are teaching this. So people made mistakes on this one when we didn't cover it. And the thing is, one of the most important things is you have to immediately look at the equation and say, hey, is it a horizontal ellipse or a vertical ellipse? Any questions, online students? All right, moving on to parabolas. Open page 8 of the math packet, please. And I want you to read page 8 of the math packet.
Can you please repeat what you just said?
Open page 8 of the math packet and read it, please. Go ahead and write on this. So when you study quadratic equations, when you plot a quadratic equation, you get a parabola. And the equation can take two different forms. One is a standard form, which you guys are all used to, and another is the vertex form, which is the graphical version of it. The main thing to remember here is the A in both of these equations is the same A, but the B and C and the H and K have no relationship. Only A is same. All right. Now, of course, you guys know in a quadratic equation you can have different types of solutions. Real roots, two real roots, and one real root, and no real roots, and stuff like that. So I drew this to indicate how both equations have to be used to find different things. If you want the vertex form, you need to know the vertex coordinates. If you want to know the axis of symmetry, you need to know this one because it's minus b divided by 2a. So you can actually directly find the axis of symmetry with this. Okay. Now remember, if I extrapolate, if I FOIL this, I get this. Okay, that's the same thing. It's a condensed form. Try this problem. I should keep saying to myself, not drawn to the scale going forward. This was in ACT. Find the equation of parabola in vertex form given this information. This was in ACT, the real test actually. Do a thumbs up if you're done. Okay. Right, let's get started. So the first is to write the equation y is equal to a times x minus h. H is 3, k is 4. Now Parker, you had asked me this question, why we have to have x and y. Now of course you have this, but you still have an a. That means you have to find the a. An equation can only have x and y by itself. So now you can actually use the point on the parabola as x and y to actually find a. But when you write the final equation, they have to stand by itself. So y is 2, a, x is 5, minus 3 squared, plus 4. So it'll be what? 2 is equal to 4a plus 4. So a is equal to negative half. So then I'm going to plug that into this equation. Y is equal to negative half x minus 3 squared plus 4. How many got this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of people. Okay, good. Now, if it's a real ACT test, we'll have 5 multiple choice. Of course, you should be able to eliminate a lot of answer choices where a is going to be positive, because this a represents a directionality, and this is closing down, so a has to be less than 0. So you actually can do process of elimination right away. H and k is 3 and 4, so that can be eliminated if that's an option. A is negative, so you can do quite a bit. Now, if I ask you guys, okay, if I ask you guys to convert a vertex form to standard form, you actually have to FOIL it, okay, and get to this format, which takes time, by the way. Okay. And if you have to solve this equation, either you can graph it in the calculator, right? This is the easiest way to graph, or put y is equal to 0 and solve for x. Make sense? Any questions? Online students, any questions? I'm not going to be focusing on hyperbolas. We have not seen that question for years now. in the last 16 years I've done this, I think we might have seen maybe one or two questions on that one. So that's not our focus. Take a 3 minutes break. Aubrey will be here. See you guys. Bye bye. See you next week. Again, don't log off, by the way.